So a lot of today's content is straight from Esri. They released some new things a few months ago with the Pro Parcel Fabric. So we will take a look at some of those today. What we're looking at today, we'll talk a little bit about system compatibility and licensing. We'll look at a few ArcGIS Pro enhancements with some tools. Talk a little bit about Schema Reports. And then most of what we'll do today is look at parcel lineage, before and after maps. Those will be some demonstrations. And then also looking outside of the parcel fabric box, we have a little bit about a tool that we have for farmland assessment called OpenFields. So we will discuss that a little bit at the end of the demonstration. Okay, so with your system compatibility, this is looking at ArcGIS Enterprise, ArcGIS Pro, and the Parcel Fabric. So the Pro release 2.6 or older, those have been deprecated. So we're looking at going forward now with mainly with 10.9 and newer for your enterprise release, compatible with Pro 2.7 to 3.2, and then Parcel Fabric versions 4 and 5. So looking a little bit at licensing now, you have your multi-user deployments through ArcGIS Enterprise, and you also have a single user deployment, which is it can be just with a file geodatabase. So if you are licensing through ArcGIS Enterprise, and you're at Enterprise 2.8 to 11.1, you'll need to have a Parcel Fabric service user type extension. And that comes with your standard or advanced licensing in ArcGIS Pro. So we're talking ArcGIS Pro 2.5 to 3.1 will need to have this type of extension. When you get to Pro 3.2 and later, and Enterprise 11.2 and later, that user type extension is going to be going over to an ArcGIS Advanced Editing extension, which not only includes Parcel Fabric, but it includes the utility network. And there's one more that's escaping me right now, but it encompasses more than just the Parcel Fabric for that advanced editing user type. Okay, it is the trace network also included with those other two. So to review, the licensing, Parcel Fabric extension, user type extension, if you're at Enterprise 10.8 to 11.1, if you are at Enterprise 11.2 and going forward from there, it's the advanced editing user type extension. Okay, a few of some enhancements to ArcGIS Pro tools. There is new functionality with the Explode tool that will create historic features for you. With the Align Parcels tool, there's an enhancement to maintain straight lines with your alignment links. In the Manage Records pane, there's an enhancement for displaying fields and for sorting. And you can also have your parcel counts for current and retired parcels that will dynamically display when you zoom and pan on your map. And then finally, with the Highlight Gaps and Overlaps tool, there's an enhancement where you can find gaps and overlaps between different parcel types now, and you can use all visible layers. Okay, and I just wanted to throw this in here as well with schema reports. This is something I was attempting to show in a demonstration, but there was some type of error that occurred. It might be a bug, it might be user error. I don't know yet, but I just wanted to discuss this. And this is something for ArcGIS Pro that's not just for the parcel fabric, but can be utilized for the parcel fabric. And that is generating schema reports. So whether you want to use it for documentation, reporting, for data migration, or for auditing and compliance, there's some different scenarios where an organization might want to utilize this tool. And what it does when you run this on a data set, it generates an Excel file or a PDF or a JSON file that shows a representation of your geodatabase schema. And these formats are then out, you pick a target destination folder for that output. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to, I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to switch over to ArcGIS Pro, and we will get into some demonstrations.
Looks good.
Okay.
I can see it. Yep.
All right. Thanks, Bill. So the first demonstration that I want to talk about is with parcel lineage. And there are some new tools that Esri has put out for the parcel fabric here to show parcel lineage. So we're going to start out we're going to locate our parcel lineage tool, and that is in our parcel record workflows tab in Pro. And there's a tool over here in this records gallery called parcel lineage. I'm going to open that. And I'm going to click on our options in this parcel lineage pane. So you can adjust the number of parcel features that you'd want to show for maximum. 100 is the max at this time. And then on the map, I do have a parcel already selected. So what we're going to do, actually, I have a record selected. So we're going to start out with this selection. Of course, I've named my parcel or my record here, parcel split for the demo. It's active here in the heads up display. So we have that selected. The next step, we want to enter a name for our link chart. So generically, I'm going to call it link chart for demo. In the parcel type dropdown, you can choose any parcel type or all of them for this link chart. So we're going to do all. For our layout, you can choose how you want it to be displayed in the link chart. We'll go with the hierarchic top to bottom. And then from there, we will click our create button. So this will create a new pane in your Pro project showing the link chart. So what this is showing, we have our record that we had selected. We have a historic parcel, the original parcel, and then we have the 3 new parcels that were created. So if we quickly go back to our map, in that record, you can see the 3 current parcels. And then if I turn on my historic parcels, that will display in the red hatch line our original parcels. So we are going back to the link chart. We can see how that is displayed now. Within the link chart, you can move with using the select tool with our link chart tools up here at the top of our layout. You can move things around. So if I wanted to move any of these items around, I could do that. change the display here. And then also with our link chart, it places the link chart in our contents pane. So if we go to that link chart, it shows what entities are involved with the link chart and then the relationships between those entities. So if we click on, say, the parcels entity here in the contents, you have a couple of options. You can delete it. You could go to the symbology or go to properties. Really, there's not much in the properties, a few options there. But if you go to symbology, in our link chart symbology pane, you have an option to go with the map symbology, or you can even change the symbology clicking on single symbol, and then you can manipulate the symbology if you wanted to change it to a different color, shape, however you want to display that symbology. Okay, and then also with the relationships, it has the same options, symbology and the properties. If I wanted to change how the lines look, if I wanted to change it to a dash line, that type of symbology change there. The last option here for our link chart that we want to discuss, up here at the top, there's different tools that you can utilize with entities and relationships. You can add those in. There's some different selection tools. If you wanted to select by attributes or location or date and time, you can do that here with this tool. You can also change the layout from what we currently have if we wanted to do a clustered layout, or we can change that to organic, or we can change it to left to right, something like that. So if you wanted to change how you display that, you can do that here. And then also you can export this link chart. So if you wanted to export it to an image or a graphic, you can do that with that tool there. Okay, so we're going to go back to our parcel lineage map first, but our next demonstration is going to build off of this parcel lineage idea, and that is using a layout for before and after maps. We're going to start here in the parcel lineage map, and what we want to do, I'm going to close out my parcel lineage here, but we want to go back to let's go into our geoprocessing tools, and there's a new tool that Esri has called Export Parcel Record Features. So we're going to open up that tool, and we are going to input our record feature. First, I do want to select it. And then from the drop-down list, I'm going to choose my records feature class. And then in our target data set, we are going to choose a staging database. So in this case, we're just going to choose our target data set that I've set up beforehand called before and after, or before after. And then when you run this tool, I'm not going to run it now, but I have already done it for time purposes. But what this does is it takes all the features that are associated with that record that you have selected, and it moves it into the staging geodatabase where you tell it to go to, and then it adds an attribute at the end of those attribute tables that it lets you, it determines if it's been created by the record, created and retired by the record or retired by the record. So that tool will do that for you. It adds an attribute. And then going forward now, as we're going to switch over to our before map. Now in your before and after map, you are mapping your layers to that staging geodatabase, that before after data set. So you have my layers here set up with the records, with the parcels. And we have that set up with mapped to our staging geodatabase. And now I'm going to show you once I get into my attribute table here. I want to show that attribute here, the exported status. So that's the attribute that tool, when you're running that tool, it's going to add this attribute to those feature classes. And the options here are listed there. And this, it's going to be the same here with our going to the after map. We have it set up to show the new parcels, the current parcels. And I believe we have we are using a definition query on those layers to show a definition query where our exported status is created and retired by record. I'm sorry, it's created by record, not retired by record. Okay, so we have those two maps set up. Now we go to our before and after layout. So in here, it's using side-by-side map frames for the before map and the after map. And one of the good things here with ArcGIS Pro is we're using dynamic text elements. With our title, we are using the record name for the title. We have other elements here, but some other elements or dynamic elements used here. We are using some dynamic table elements that show the old parcel for the before map and the new parcels for the after map. So if we go to the properties for these, we are showing dynamic distinct values with that element, and the setup there is you're choosing which map frame you're using, the table it's coming from, and then a query on those visible rows, and then you can change the appearance of how you want it to display. Okay, I guess our final demonstration for the day is we're going to step outside of the parcel fabric and go into a farmland assessment tool that we have developed, and it's called OpenFields. And this tool utilizes a few layers here that I have here in this map. It uses a parcels layer, which in this case, it is exported out. So if you have your parcel layer in your parcel fabric, you would need to export that out into another staging geodatabase for this purpose. Because this tool needs to have, it cannot have any null values, and each value must be unique. And then also utilizes a land use layer and then a soils layer as well. Okay, so I'm going to open up our OpenFields tool. And then our tool here, it's showing the parameters of the tool. We'll need to choose our parcel layer here. It's using the selected record that I have. You can enter in the field to use for the parcel ID number. And then we'll choose an acreage field. Put our soils field here. Our land use field here. And then this is a certified values table that comes from, in this case, from the state of Illinois. That we've set this up for Illinois. So we're going to navigate to that table. And then it's going to set up the PI and CV fields, which is productivity index and certified value. We will choose our output here. And that's what we put our output there. And then we'd run the tool. So I've done this again for time purposes. I've ran the tool beforehand. And we're going to look at what that produces. So this is, can everybody see that Excel table?
Yep, looks good.
All right. So this is the initial output of that tool. It puts it into, it's a CSV. I have it here in an Excel table. I've done some formatting ahead of time where I've sorted it how I wanted it. But what it does for this parcel ID, it has a breakdown of the land use category, the acreage amounts, the soil type associated with that, and then the productivity index for those soil types on that land use type and acreage. So using a table, there's a EAV per acre table, and then that determines the assessed value for that category. We also have a way to take this table and put it into a report. Unfortunately, that part of the demonstration was not working correctly, but we have generated a report ahead of time. I'm going to move that over here, this PDF report, where it kind of cleans all that up and displays the information from that table for that particular parcel and the breakdown of the assessed value. Right. Going to head back to our slides here. Bill, can you see the resources slide?
Yep.
Okay, great. So a few resources here to that you can go to for ArcGIS Pro or to get more information about the Parcel Fabric. They have a good Parcel Fabric community with a lot of information, blogs, and then links to the Parcel Fabric meetup. They have periodic meetings for what's new in the Parcel Fabric, some other information related to the Parcel Fabric that come up there from time to time. And then also here at Cloudpoint, we have some tutorials with the Parcel Fabric and land records. So some of you may have already taken a look at those. There's past webinars from the past few years that are there. And this webinar will go there too eventually. So that's another option for more information.
Yeah,